Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Bruchim habayim, welcome to this place, a place of prayer for all people. For those who I don't know, I'm Yair Robinson. I get to be the rabbi of this congregation, and we are here to celebrate the work, and we are here to support each other, and we are here, as the program says, to persevere in love. I'm going to ask us, if you look in your prayer brochure, you will see the order of service at the beginning. You'll see a couple of readings after that, and then after that, you will see something called songs. We're going to turn to that page that says songs as we join in our opening hymn together, inspired for those who were at the rally after the Pittsburgh shooting a few months ago down at the University of Delaware. Representative Lisa Blunt-Rochester cited this hymn and inspired many of us in her citation, so we're going to join in singing it together.
Keep your lamps trimmed and burning, keep your lamps trimmed and burning, keep your lamps trimmed and burning, for the time is drawing nigh. Children, don't grow weary, children, don't grow weary, children, don't grow weary, for the time is drawing nigh. Darker midnight lies before us, darker midnight lies before us, darker midnight lies before us, for the time is drawing nigh. Children, don't grow weary, children, don't grow weary, children, don't grow weary, for the time is drawing nigh. Lo, the morning soon is breaking, lo, the morning soon is breaking, lo, the morning soon is breaking, for the time is drawing nigh. Children, don't grow weary, children, don't grow weary, children, don't grow weary, for the time is drawing nigh.
Welcome to everyone today. Thank you for coming here. I'm Ruth from Planned Parenthood of Delaware. I'd like to acknowledge that we have a senator with us today, Senator Tom Carper. Thank you for attending. Planned Parenthood experiences many highs and lows every single day. We take care of people at their best, and we take care of people when they're struggling their most. Whether it's a 16-year-old who's come in for the first time for care, whether it's a 48, 50-year-old who's been to us for many years, we know that abortion care is health care, and that's what we provide. We're humbled, we're honored, we believe it's a sacred duty of ours, and the staff that work there follow that mantra as they take care of each and every person. Almost a third of us women will have experienced an abortion at some time in our life. Now is the time to remove shame, to remove guilt, and to remove those terrible feelings that people carry with them because others tell them that what they've done is wrong. So I just want to thank our Clergy of Choice group. They've been an inspiration to all of us, and they've helped us because oftentimes we see what people throw the worst at us, and they've come in and wrapped us in their arms and have said, you know what, you guys are great providers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for providing care. And thank you all for being here today.
There are those in this room who have marched in the last 24 hours. There are those in this room who have advocated, those in this room who have escorted people in their time of need. There are those in this room who have done the work being with women, holding their hand as they made the choices that were right for them. What does prayer have to do with any of that? What does prayer accomplish? What does prayer do for us as opposed to marching or advocating or doing the real work? It was Abraham Joshua Heschel, or perhaps Ferdinand Isserman, who gave us the answer. The prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits and God's will to prevail in our lives, and reminds us that while prayer cannot bring water to parched fields or mend a broken bridge or rebuild a ruined city, prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. So in this space, we center ourselves. In this moment, we offer songs of praise for the opportunity to do God's work and to recognize the divine image in each other. In this moment, we are restored so that we can continue to do that work. We can continue to be there for those who need us. We can continue to march together. So I'm going to invite us to read together. If you look on that first page of readings, the reading right at the top, adapted from our teacher, Michael Walzer. I'm going to ask us to read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together and singing together. If we turn back to our songs, 1, 2, 3.5 songs in, where it says, "We are loved."
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
A reading by the Hasidic teacher of the 17 and 1800s, Reb Nachman of Bratslav. Master of the universe, grant me the ability to be alone. May it be my custom to go outdoors each day, among the trees and grass, among all growing things. And there may I be alone and enter into prayer, to talk with the one that I belong to. May I express there everything in my heart, and may all the foliage of the field, all grasses, trees, and plants, may they all awake at my coming, to send the powers of their life into the words of my prayer, so that my prayer and speech are made whole through the life and spirit of all growing things, which are made as one by their transcendent source. Amen.
If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. And although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. I may never see the promised land. I may never see the promised land. And yet we'll make the journey and walk it hand in hand. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We will never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. We'll work until it's done. Every daughter, every son, every soul that ever longed for something better, something brighter. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when.
The language of this struggle is spiritual, it is medical, and no surprise to anyone in this room, it is political. And the importance of having allies and people who are willing to take up this struggle and to fight for these rights each and every day is essential. And I know Ruth greeted Senator Carper earlier, and we are so glad you're able to be with us, especially knowing that you have a memorial service that you're trying to get to as well. And on this Bima, we have our Lieutenant Governor, Bethany Hall Long, and I invite her to come forward to speak and to share her reflections and her Torah.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to be among those of faith. and among those who cherish individual rights. If you look in the back at the panel who has put this together, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Clergy for Choice. This is happening, we know, across America, across our wonderful country. Those who come and stand for those who aren't hurt. I know Senator Carper will often tell you we share some things in common. Raised in rural communities in a family of faith. I was raised among pastors. I was raised among that community to give unto others, and to those of us who come from the Christian faith, knowing the biblical verses, whether it's Matthew, where we take care of the least among us, or those of you who come from Catholicism, Methodist, all the different religions that I see here, because I know I have staff from different religions perhaps that aren't always among those of us, among clergy of choice. But we know that it comes from the heart of caring. And I can say that today it's an exciting time to be here for women. I recognized some faces yesterday who were with us when we were out and talking about equal is equal, the exciting moments that we've had here in Delaware passing the ERA. That's all good and well, but if you are struggling, we need us to link arm in arm. And that's what the music was about today. And thank you for those lovely words. And as our Congresswoman so rightfully mentioned when you talked about her words when she came to the University of Delaware, where I happened to teach as a nurse. And some of you know my health background, and some of you fellowship and worship with one of my mentors, Dr. Janice Seligman. Some of you I know her and have been her rabbi. We often talk about standing alone and being able to stand up for others. And as it was appropriate that the song that Lisa had mentioned that you sang today, the words when she talked about your lamps, keeping them trimmed and burning. It really is about sometimes when we're at the darkest before the dawn. And to me as a nurse, I have to say it's so important for healthcare. I cannot share with you, being a certified childbirth educator, the comments and the times that I've spent with Ruth when I've been really concerned about healthcare in our community, healthcare in our state, and I know as Senator Carper will say, across our nation. Having access, and it's what Clergy for Choice stands for, reproductive justice. Reproductive justice. Making sure individuals are treated the same, no matter where your zip code, no matter your income, no matter your skin color, and having that protection. So I want to thank all of you who've come here today, because we know firsthand the impact that your words, your advocacy, your presence in the media, and your kindness. And there's nothing more special, and this is something that's often hard to impress upon my new nursing students, than listening, being present, and holding one's hand. And some of the words we sang today and some of the hymns talk about those kind of connectiveness. When the downtrodden need us most, or when people have them pressed to the wall, and it's easy to tell someone what to do with themselves, but it's at the end their individual dignity, the individual respect. I am so proud to be here with Planned Parenthood and others who recognize no matter your zip code or your background, you should have first-class access to services, preventative care, pro-choice options, whether that might be the painful decision for abortion, or it might be a decision that you might necessarily need education to prevent getting to those circumstances. But having been at the forefront and fighting, thank you for today. You're coming together as a clergy, as a community, states that we respect one another. And no matter what our background, no longer should African American women suffer the highest infant mortality rates in our country. Infant mortality rate is a reflection on your public's health, your population's health. Latino women and others should have equal access to planned family methods instead of having the highest rate of unintended pregnancy. It's a social justice, it's an economic justice, but most importantly, it's what Clergy for Choice stand for, which is reproductive choice. So, as a nurse, most importantly, I have to share with you how very important this is. It is about giving people those equal opportunities and truly meaning that equal is equal. And I could talk a long time, but I know that this is a brief moment and a prayerful moment. But I want you to know that in Delaware, we are working hard, both at our federal level, state level, and with our local communities to make our communities stronger and healthier. And it's an honor for me to be present. For those of you who aren't familiar, feel free to contact my office, other elected officials, our governors, our U.S. senators, and certainly our congresswoman, because we want to be there. We want to fight for the rights for individuals who are oppressed, who don't have the voice, and don't have the opportunity. And so as we turn to our faith, no matter what our religious beliefs are, I can share with you the one thing I have learned. We all share in common the joy of birth. Having been there, we share in common the agony of our loss of life, and we all bleed red. Those are the common denominators. And so I'm excited to have that opportunity today to come and say thank you, to let you know that this is a day that we reflect and not be discouraged, not be fearful, and to stand up for what's right, despite the horrific, agonizing experiences that we often have when we're standing for reproductive choice, reproductive rights. And again, in closing, thank you for your coming together, for the clergy. And if there's other continued events or opportunities where my office can be of support, I know Senator Carper will tell you the same. We are here to stand hand in hand with you. And I say thank you to each and every one of you for all that you do for our women and our children, because they are the future and they are the reasons in our society that we will continue and have the strongest in our state. So again, thank you for this day. Thank you for what you do. And let's continue to stand champions for clergy of choice and reproductive justice. Thank you.
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
Gentleness in Living, a meditation by the Reverend Richard Gilbert. Be gentle with one another. It is a cry from the lives of people battered by thoughtless words and brutal deeds. It comes from the lips of those who speak them and the lives of those who do them. Who of us can look inside another and know what is there of hope and hurt or promise and pain? Who can know from what far places each has come, or to what far places each may hope to go? Our lives are like fragile eggs. They crack and the substance escapes. Handle with care. Handle with exceedingly tender care, for there are human beings within. Human beings as vulnerable as we are, who feel as we feel, who hurt as we hurt. Life is too transient to be cruel with one another. It is too short for thoughtlessness, too brief for hurting. Life is long enough for caring. It is lasting enough for sharing, precious enough for love. Be gentle with one another. Do you remember the sigh of relief when the Supreme Court announced the Roe v. Wade decision? When we thought, finally, our nation has recognized the importance of privacy, of human agency, of what we Unitarian Universalists call the right of conscience. And in the decades since, what have we seen? We have seen the issue of reproductive justice degenerate into a painfully partisan, uncivil, and often dangerous clash of words and deeds and values. Given the fierceness of this ongoing struggle, we must be gentle with one another as we continually seek new ways to advocate, to protect, and to affirm. Today, in spite of the rancor in the larger culture, we in this room remain committed to advocating for certain core social justice issues: access to health care for all people, the recognition of the right of women to self-determination, and the dismantling of what I have to call patriarchal assumptions about reproduction and who owns it. How do we sustain this commitment for the long haul? When we grow weary, we spell each other. We remind ourselves and each other that across the various creeds and faiths that sustain us separately, there is among us a shared theology of pluralism, of love, of liberation, a theology that says that all people have value and should be able to make decisions about what happens to their bodies, a theology that says that bodies are good, that sexuality is good, that knowledge is good, a theology that says that there is strength and beauty in imperfection and that diversity is a great blessing. In the face of simplistic reductionism, we need to continually remind ourselves and each other that human lives are complex. We live most of our lives in the gray areas. Given that complexity, we must be gentle with one another as we sort through contexts and options. We are gathered here today to remember, to celebrate, to affirm, and to care for each other so that we can go back out there and sustain a faithful witness for the cause of reproductive justice. May we find ways to model strength for the struggle, ways that are built on a foundation of love, of mutual respect, of firmness and gentleness held in a creative tension that is affirming and liberating. Be gentle with one another and never give up the struggle.
We pray for strength and courage. We pray for love, and we pray for healing. We pray for those who are in need of healing. Healing as they wrestle with the choices that they need to make. Healing for the confrontation, the needless confrontation that they encounter, the hostility. Healing for body, healing for spirit, healing perhaps even for having found themselves no longer welcome in a home that previously had been filled with love, or so they thought. Each of us knows someone who is in need of that healing. Perhaps at one point that someone was us. If you are thinking of someone who is in need of healing and you are willing to share that person's name out loud, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. If you look back in our songs, you will find our recitation, our prayer of healing, written by Debbie Friedman. The words are entitled, Mi Sheberach, may the one who blessed. We join together with our cantor.
Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habracha v'imoteinu. May the soil before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha li'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Good afternoon. My name is Jen Steinberg, and as president of Congregation Beth Emeth, it is an honor and a pleasure to welcome all of you here to our congregation today. In April of 1992, my mom took me out of school for the day, and we took the bus from Long Island to Washington, D.C. for the March for Women's Lives. That day in D.C., it was the anti-choice posters and the counter chants of "Keep your rosaries off of my ovaries" that for me defined the role of religion and faith at that march. Looking at all of us here on the bima and in the room today, my perspective is incredibly different, as I'm sure, as there are here today, that there were pro-choice clergy and people of faith among those in DC that day marching. And today I'm very glad to be here with all of you, that Beth Emeth can host this important event to mark the 46th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, and as we continue to highlight the importance of reproductive choice then, today, as well in the future for all people. Thank you.
Do I get the last word? My name is David Andrews. I'm the rector of the Episcopal Church of St. Andrew and Matthew in Wilmington, and it's my pleasure to serve on the board of Planned Parenthood, as well as to be the convener of the Clergy for Choice group that meets once a month. And in way of thanking the folks at Beth Emeth, I was thinking this morning in the Episcopal Church, the reading from the Gospel was Jesus' first miracle at the wedding in Cana, when he has this wonderful encounter with his mother. And his mother comes to him and says, "We have no wine." And Jesus sort of rebukes her, sort of says, "Well, what's that to me?" But then she says, "Do what he says." I'm in that position. I asked Rabbi Robinson to host this. I said, "Do what he says." So he and his staff, wonderful staff, and thank you for your hospitality this day and for your witness. For my benediction, the music, what we've heard today is the benediction. We live in difficult times. Tomorrow we will celebrate Dr. King's life and his march on his speech, I Have a Dream speech. Challenge those who heard it and challenged us today not to step back, to not allow the status quo to take charge, to not give in to this idea of gradualism that we're moving too fast. We live in a time where women's lives matter, a time where protesters stand outside Planned Parenthood in Wilmington and yell vile things to those going in. So we cannot stop. We cannot stop this work. We are in this together. And the God we pray to, be it Christian or Jewish or Islam or whoever, whatever tradition we come from, let us do the work that the divine is asking us, inviting us to do, and listen. Listen to one another, listen to the divine within us and between us, to not forget that what we're dealing with, what we are most focused on, one of the major things we're focused on is relationships. The relationships we have with those who are making these difficult choices. We stand with them, we stand by them, we protect them. And let us never, never forget to do that, as difficult as sometimes it is. And as we leave this place, let us never grow weary, but strengthened by one another's love and support and encouragement, we continue the work we've been called to do. Amen.
A word of gratitude to our staff, to the staff of Planned Parenthood, who work so tirelessly, to our music director, Dennis Stewart, who had to schlep up here from his church this morning to be with us and to help lead us in music, and to all of you for coming out in this cold. Our closing song, Olam Chesed Yivaneh, is on the second to last page. And as we prepare to join each other in fellowship and then make our escape into the cold, I'm going to invite, for this closing song, all the members of Clergy for Choice who are here with us up onto the bima, up onto the pulpit. And I'm going to ask for Senator Carper to join us for this closing song up on the bima as well. So if that describes you. And I think I'm hopefully not leaving out any elected official that I'm just not recognizing or who's here incognito. Nobody here is playing Henry V, the third act? No? Okay, great. Where he's in disguise right now. All right. I'm going to ask us to rise. And for those who didn't get a chance to do the ritual of centering as you came in, you're welcome to do so on your way out. We'll get to enjoy in fellowship next door. We rise as we are able as we join in our closing song.
Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, yadadai, then God must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed
We will persevere in love. Amen, amen.
Amen.
We'll see you next door.
High five. Awesome. Thank you. I'm Alicia. I'm Hi. Nice to meet you. Hey, how are you doing? Thank you for helping us.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
absolutely.
rejuvenating
Yeah, great to see you too.
to have that.
Hi, I'm Frank Jones.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm a hugger. Thank you so much for being here.
Before Thanksgiving, I had something very similar.
Fourth service today.
Yeah, and I did a test exam, but the answer is
Dennis, thank you so much. Thank you, Dennis. Sure.
around the same time. It's very sad.
Very good.
It's sad, but it's real.
Excellent.